Hi, my name is Bob Marshall. I'd like to introduce you to the first videotape of our series. This videotape is just basic handmade shoes, fronts and hind pattern. No elaboration on positions of nails and so forth, but what we're working on today is just the shaping of the front shoe and the hind shoe and the ease of which you can use the tools, and hopefully it's going to make your horseshoe making a lot more fun and a lot easier to understand. Some of these principles I've used I learned from having years of opportunities of working with the great masters of our trade. You must also realize that these shoes are made on a round horn anvil, and we're emphasizing on that in this particular tape. I hope that in the future your horseshoe making was going to be a lot easier, and you will get a basic understanding of how effortless shoemaking can be, and it can be a lot of fun, and I'm sure it's going to help you. And as we create more videotapes, it's going to help you in the future. Hope you enjoy the tape. Thank you. Hi, my name is Bob Marshall. On this videotape of basic horseshoe making, I'd like to cover some of the simple techniques that we've tried to discover in the years of making horseshoes. This method of a toe bend, for instance, may be a little controversial, but believe you me, it works. It will help you to understand the bending of the steel, and it will make a lot more fun for you, and you'll be allowed to achieve many, many more advanced shoemaking methods, I should say, in the future. The first shoe we're going to make this morning on this videotape is a basic front shoe. 12 inches of steel, 5/16 by 3/4. But before we start, I must emphasize, always wear eye protection. Hearing protection is also suggested, however, always wear eye protection. So we'll mark it off, 12 inches. We find the center. You'd always mark the center with a center punch. And from there, we will mark 1.25 inches for each nail hole for the toenails. Now, from then on, what I would like you to do is turn the shoe on edge, still using the center as a reference point, and find 25%, which means that you would measure 3 inches and put a chalk mark, like so. This is very temporary. The width of the stock is 3/4 inch, so move the permanent mark 3/4 inch back towards the toe. For any front shoe, this method will give you the appropriate area for the heat on a toe bend. So we get rid of that mark, and we get rid of the 2 outside marks, and now we mark them on edge, and it is absolutely vital that you mark them on edge. This is not the way you will continuously make your toe bends, but it will give you a good introduction as to how the steel will move easily and effortlessly. That is the key to this videotape, to make your forging effortlessly. Now, what we will do, we'll heat it up, and we'll use these reference points. This will be your heat, and we'll just cool these branches down until you get the appropriate heat in order to bend your toe. Okay, we'll get on with that procedure now. So what I've done here, we just quickly set it up for you. So there is a reminder. First, find the center and mark it. Mark the 25%, deduct the width of the stock on both edges. Also underneath here, you'll see that I put some marks on the anvils, especially on the horn. These are what I call the sweet spots. This area here is obviously the center. The center line is very important. When you balance your shoe on there, it will always balance in the center. This must be stressed also, that this is working when you are working on a round horn anvil. On the flat horn anvil, this process you will find fairly difficult. You may have to work closer towards the other end of the anvil. But this is specifically for round horn anvils. In later tapes we can work on some of the other ones, but at this stage of the game we're working on a round horn anvil, And I will also explain to you later on how this is going to work very efficiently for you, very easily, because we have the same marks on the anvils. But this is the setup. And to explain again, the setup, when the steel goes on to be turned, this area here, just past the center line, is the area that you would turn the shoe. You would bend it. This area here, you would straighten the shoe. The dead center, you would maintain the curve of whichever curve you desire for boxing, etc., removing bug eyes from the nail holes or whatever, or even stretching the shoe would be dead center. Again here, I've given you an example. Center, nail hole mark, edge, minus the 3/4 of an inch, appropriate heat. Okay? Great, now we'll get on to making the shoe. Faster though, right? Again, use the tongs 3/4 of an inch from the end, like so. Lift, and a slight tap down, like that. And again, 3/4 of an inch from the end, and then lift up again. There. If you want to close it up a little bit, bring that reference point over the center of the anvil and just give it a little tap there, again, and there. This will bring your toe bend into the appropriate angle, and you have total control of it. Use your anvil as a guide. Listen to the steel when it goes solid. See, that's when it's solid like that, lift it a little bit. Bring it back to there, put that reference point over there, tighten it up again. If this comes a little short and this is a little long, raise it back so, like so, put the reference point on the face of the anvil, a little tap, and a tap there, and this will even things up a little bit for you. When you hammer finishing the heels, try to pull the steel back towards you, and then you've got it there for a later date. There, now I just tap it towards my left knee. And there's the heel. When you come to shape the branch, put the shoe on the center, just a little tap to make sure it's okay, and then make sure that you line this mark that you put on your training line, mark it and line it up with the center of the anvil. Rotate it back until this becomes further up than the level of the anvil. Move the hammer over the center line because this is the sweet spot for bending. Like so. So now we're in the position again for rotating the shoe, and we'll do this again in slow motion. There, line everything up. Tongs, steel, hammer shaft. And let the hammer just drop on there, and rotate it so it goes and follows through. And there you have your shoe. That is also a good heat to put the holes in. Pritchell again. Get your head over the hole, and with like a dropping effect or a pulling through effect, pull the hammer down towards the hole. There, like so. And box it. And to finish the hole off, you can get a little headset or a countersink, whatever you want to call it, and you can put the holes into whatever size you require. It's also important to make sure that you get one side of the shoe completed so that you can focus on that and use your imagination and your muscle memory, or whatever you want to call it, but make sure you make one side of the shoe so it is the appropriate size and shape that you require, and then your inside can match it. Okay, again, on the inside branch, bring this back, there, little taps, there, there, bring it back towards you. And again, we'll do this in slow motion. Make sure that you bring the reference point back onto there, tip it back, just a little tap, just the weight of the hammer. That's all you have to do. And you'll notice that the ones that we've done slower, they came out a little quicker. I know it doesn't sound right, but if you don't have to backtrack, you get down the road a little easier and more straightforward. Final shaping now. Placing the tongs on the nail hole is absolutely vital. Same reference point. Kick it back, there, slow motion. What we're going to do in a second is show you how you can reorganize the shape just in case it doesn't quite work the first time. Now is just do the final stages of the shoe, and we'll just use the reference points again to organize
the first half of the shoe. Put the reference point onto the top edge of the anvil, and literally until it feels snug. And then literally just rotate the shoe with the center of the hammer going over the center mark of the anvil until you find the opposing reference point. Repeat the process. At the same time, you may want to box it a little bit now. You'll notice this is effortless. Right? Now you find out it's still a little bit out of whack around here, so now you can go from this reference point and again move it slightly forward and then just bring it back. Now once this nail hole goes over the top line of the anvil, rotate the shoe a little bit and follow it through to there. Again, bring it back to there. Once the nail hole again is there, rotate it like so and follow it through there. And this will bring your horseshoe back into some perspective. Now obviously, it doesn't always work that way. So what we're going to do now, we're going to alter the shoe to some of the more common problems, and then we'll bring it back again. Okay, what normally happens is we'll end up with a shoe a little bit like this. Too straight, too long there. Okay? In order to bring this out, it's very simple. Some methods, you would say you would do this, and then this, and then this. Let's try it another way. Hold the side that you need to work on, bring it back to this central point, rotate it so there's a little bit of daylight underneath there, put the hammer just past the center line and let it drop and keep rotating. And that will bring it back in the appropriate area that you wanted. And then again, you would do as we did before, bring it around, there. Once the nail hole comes onto there, again, and then there. I mentioned before about finishing of the heels. If you bring the steel back into itself, get a quote on there, like so, and then there, you'll find out that that's a very good way of making the shoe and a very good way of making the heels. Like so. We'll do another one for you. Again. Okay, now that takes care of the basic front shoe. Now we're going to work on the hind shoe. And this is how to set it up for a hind shoe. Take the back edge off, there, and then just keep driving this back towards your left knee. And that gives you the appropriate check for your shoe. There, like so. Okay, now what we're going to do is set it up for the hind shoe. We've already gone over some material for the front shoe. Now we'll go over some of the easy ways of making a hind shoe. This is a very simple way of making a hind shoe. It's almost foolproof. Even I can make them. To make things easy, we're just going to balance them in the center. So we're just going to make a balanced hind shoe, because this is only the process of making shoes, and that's what we're trying to learn today. So again, if you like, you can mark the center. I don't, but you can mark them if you like. The marks I prefer would be where the nail holes are going to be. This helps because later on you'll be making hind shoes where you have to upset the steel, so a center mark would be quite irrelevant because it would move and distort. But what you want to do is mark where your nail holes are going to be, and then you've got some good reference points. There, there. Again, these are about 1.25 inches. If you want a broader toe, then make the nail holes appropriately. What we do now, again, mark the edges, put your training wheels on there, exactly where your nail holes are going to be. This method, and I must emphasize, you obviously won't mark every shoe like this, but it will train your eye to focus on the areas that need to be hot for those particular heats that you require, for the job you require. It will train your eye. They're nothing but training wheels. Eventually, you can get onto the system that is the conventional way, and of course I use that all the time. However, we're going to just get them hot now, and then again we will cool them out, like so, and then we will work on the cold area there, and exactly like the front ones, it's just that we moved the area closer to the center. Okay, we're going to cool it out right to there like so, about 1/4 inch off the line. Because it's a shorter heat, you may want to be a little bit, give yourself a bit of time. Same thing again, just past the center line, just past the little mark, lift, and repeat the same on the other side. There, like so. Kind of put your tongs at an angle like this. This allows a little bit more movement upwards, and it will stay nice and level. And close. Now, with this view here, it's absolutely vital here. So now we can box the shoe, and we can do what is called setting the hind shoe, which obviously means you're just going to put your quarters on there. So it's a little bit of a bend there, but if you bring your shoe and you line it up with that center line and bring your hammer just a fraction past the center line to there, slide your shoe towards the end of the horn, create a little bit of daylight, and a little tap there, and then the mark is right there for you too. That will straighten that part. Repeat the process. Again, there like so, rotate it back, tap, and there. This makes a difference in any of the hind shoes. And you have total control of it. You can use those reference points now to box your shoe. So forth. Make sure that this is straight from here. Here's a little test you can do. You can put stage.